Greetings, everyone. Welcome to LumaCon and Drawing with
Hello
Gio
there,
Benedetti.
Mr. Watt.
So first, a little bit of business. I see some familiar faces there. Hi, everybody. Thanks for being here. First off, we are recording this little workshop. So if you do not, or you choose not to have your face in this recording, please turn off your camera now. All right, just so you know, if you don't want your mug on this video, you are welcome to turn off your camera. So please turn off your cameras and we'll go off that another moment. But if you want to stick around, we'd love to see you drawing and sharing. And also, I need to share this with you in a moment. Welcome to LumaCon 2021. I don't know if you know me, but I'm Tall Man, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. And where is my little cursor? All right, so for the Zoom overview, you can access Spanish interpretation by clicking the interpretation on the lower right-hand corner of your screen. It looks like a little world kind of thing, and selecting Spanish. And all sessions will be recorded and posted to YouTube. And now, we are going to the workshop with Gio Benedetti.
Yay!
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Towel Man. Welcome to LumaCon 2021. We are so pleased to have you here. And I would like to introduce our artist in residence for this hour. This gentleman is a local musician, plays in several bands over many years, is a puppeteer, an artist, a writer, a Renaissance guy, and wears a scarf better than anybody else I know. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, Gio Benedetti.
Thanks, Towel Man. It's an honor to be introduced by you, I gotta say. And it's also that there are so many creative young people creating and getting an avenue to share their work. And I had to write down the name of the 4 people who had videos on the LumaCon site because it was just awesome to see them sharing. And it was Forrest, Val, Taya, and Chloe. So I don't know if they're here, but it was just so cool that they're there. So if anybody wants to check out cool student work, it's on lumacon.net. And thanks for joining me. And oh yeah, if you don't have pencil, eraser, paper, and maybe a marker or something to draw with, please have those handy and ready to go, or a tablet if you're a digital artist. But have something so that you can write and draw and participate. Towel Man, you're muted. So as you're speaking, I cannot hear you.
That's unusual for me to be muted. Usually I'm kind of loud. So Gio, could you tell us a little bit about your interests in art and how you got started? Have you always been drawing?
Yeah, I think, I watched a really cool video of a chalk artist, and it was, people come up and they're like, oh, wow, like, how long have you been drawing? And he had the coolest response. He's like, when did you stop drawing? Everybody starts out drawing. Like I have 2 children, and you put something in their hands, and one of my kids drew like ballpoint pen nonsense on the back of a leather armchair, like for like a year straight. And it's just like a giant leather ballpoint pen mural on the back of a chair. Like, kids love to draw. We love to make marks, and we like to just mess around with stuff. But then there's something that happens later on for some people where there's a drop off. Some dumb person, they listen to the wrong person at some time, or they look around and they're like, oh, other people are doing this better. And then people stop. So I was just one of those lucky people that never stopped, and I just kept drawing. And every notebook I have from every class and every note from every teacher is like doodles a lot, has a hard time paying attention, always drawing in class. That's just nonstop drawing.
And do you have any particular people that are inspirations for your artwork?
The biggest inspiration for me, art-wise and probably comic-wise, was one of my best friends, Nathaniel S. Laxon, in the 4th grade, because he made his own comic book called Nat the Nutcase. And it blew my mind that somebody that I knew could make a comic. And that's been like a common theme through my life, with music too. I didn't start playing music till my brother came home and started playing Metallica on my dad's acoustic guitar, because there's a link that needs to happen, I think, for people, which is where things go from that's something other people do to that's something that I can do. And so for me, that person was Nathaniel. And then, you know, like just in the world, I love all kinds of art, and Instagram is my new home for finding all the art that I like to just watch and peruse and get inspired by. There's a bazillion names, but like the 4 names that I said at the beginning, like that totally lit my fire today. Forrest and Taya and Chloe and Val, like that's awesome. It inspires me to make art. So.
And I know at least a couple of those particular artists are with us in residence in this workshop, sir.
Yeah, that rules. Well, that's cool. The positive feedback can just keep going.
So we do have the chat open, and if you have questions for Gio yourself, you can throw them in the chat, and I'll be monitoring the chat as we move along and posting these questions as Gio goes through his workshop here.
Yeah.
Gio, would you like to get started, or do you want to chat a little bit more?
No, I'll jump in. Thanks, Tal, man. I'll jump right in because I think where we were talking about like having people show us that this is something we can do, that we can make art and we can share art. That was really important to me. And I made 3 goofy promo videos for this workshop. And in those goofy promo videos, I was working on something. And I want to share that because this is hugely important to me. This is like my mental process of how in the world my brain works from getting an idea to sharing the idea. So I hope people can see this. This is the map that I made. All right. And my cursor right here, this is where I'm starting, right? Because everybody has an idea. If you're on this workshop, I want you to think of the cool ideas that you've had. We'll keep it specific to comics for this workshop, but this works for any idea in the world. All right. Everybody's map is different, but I think you'll be able to relate to some of the things on this map because these are some of the things that I run into. So let's say you have an idea. I think for most of us, most of our ideas, oh no, don't. No, you did. You forgot it. And now your idea is in the idea graveyard. Oh, that was too bad. You should have written it down. Why didn't you write it down? Oh, I got to show you. I have to show everybody something. Okay. So I love writing ideas down. And when hey, go away, you dumb share screen. Check this out. I brought in a stack of my notebooks. I finally started dating them. This is 2010 up to 2014. And then I got another stack here. Oh. So this is my 2016 up to 2019. And this is where my ideas go. And I mean, they didn't all happen. I haven't made stuff with all those. But when you have an idea, that's the universe knocking at your specific door. It's like, this doesn't happen to anybody else. This is your specific brain, your specific combination of influences and creativity. And it's your idea. It's your responsibility to take that and hopefully make it something. And so when I get an idea, I'm always trying to remember it and write it down. And sometimes I don't, and I hate it when I throw ideas in the idea graveyard, because that's always super sad to me. So let's go back to the map. All right, so we're back at the map. Let's not go down that path, everybody. Let's get those red lines out of there. Here's a huge place. Oh my goodness. Notice there's this giant trail that just leads straight to the bog of It's Impossible. Don't go there. Don't go there. There's a lot of roads that lead to It's Impossible. But here's a huge thing. Look at this part. Let's say you have an idea. Let's say you mention it to a friend. Oh, this is like one of the ultimate forks in the road. What if your friend says, that's stupid? Or maybe it's not that stupid. Maybe they say something that's like, oh yeah, whatever. Maybe they're just dismissive. Oh, sometimes that's even worse. And then you think, yeah, what was I thinking? That was a dumb idea. And you listen to the naysayers, and now look where you are. Oh no. Now you're landed straight in the river of self-doubt, which leads directly over here into the swamps of self-doubt, which are really hard to get out of. You got to crawl all the way through the muck back home so that you can get back home. I think this is hugely important for 2 reasons. Number one, obviously you can't listen to the naysayers. But here's a huge thing that I think a lot of us forget is that we are that friend to all of our creative friends. And sometimes you don't even know it, but somebody's like, oh wait, what if like Green Lantern, instead of having a ring, what if it was like a cool helmet? And if you say something like, that's stupid, why would Green Lantern have a helmet? He has a ring. Just saying that's stupid, maybe that tanks that person's idea, versus if you're like, oh yeah, just don't call it Green Lantern, call it Green Helmet, and then somebody has a helmet charged with willpower, and then they have their own adventures. Because the actual point of this workshop is that there is no such thing as an original idea. The only thing that's original is making a thing. When you make a thing, that activates originality. Originality in the abstract, when you're just coming up with ideas, I don't care how cool your idea is. Any idea you say to me or your friend or the person next to you, they'll be like, oh yeah, that reminds me of this. Oh, that reminds me of a movie I saw. Oh, that reminds me of this storyline in this comic that you've never even heard of. And you're like, oh, damn it, I wanted it to be original. Your idea can't be original. There's too many, there's too many ideas out there. Maybe if you lived in ancient Greece, maybe if you were hanging out with Aristotle, you could have had like some original ideas, but it's been too long. Humans have been around too long. We're done with original ideas, okay? Stop thinking that there's original ideas and get on board. I had to put this on the map, so I got to share my map one more time because this was just so important to me. Over here, you decide to make it real, right? On the way to deciding to make it real, maybe you make it real over here. Oh, I'm deciding this is going to be a real idea. And then you show up here, and whether it's you seeing somebody else do it, maybe it's you realize that you had an idea of a guy in a cape with a bat symbol, and someone's like, you ever heard of Batman? You're like, ah, dang it, Batman. Check this out. My idea is unoriginal, can lead to the river of self-doubt, and then you're just back in the swamps. Or it can lead right here. This is kind of the focus of today. All ideas are unoriginal. Execution of ideas is original, okay? And that leads you back here to deciding to make it real, which hopefully will lead you up the map to getting some help from, you know, videos or mentors, and eventually you get over here and you get your support and your motivation, and then you do tons of work, and then finally you realize your idea, and then after you realize your idea, there's a whole nother bunch of obstacles to get through, and at the end of it, it's just, you're just gonna do it again. There's no end to this. All it does is just start the next idea of making something. But that idea of originality it can be really paralyzing for folks. So we're gonna do an experiment together today. So I hope you have your paper or whatever you want to draw on.
And I would just agree with you, Gio, in the sense that it's everybody's interpretation of their idea. Like the idea of something's there, but so many ways you can express that idea in your own, you know, understanding, in your own mind. That's where the great thoughts and the great drawings come from.
Always. And I think it's something that we take for granted, because if you ask me how I'm doing today, or if you ask me like, hey, yeah, like, what do you want to do today? I don't freeze up and I don't think, oh man, if I tell them how I'm doing today, like that's what everybody says. Like I'm not going to freeze up there. I'll respond to you because I know that my perspective is going to be unique because you asked me. And I think when we're creative, when we're going to make something, it's important to come from that same place of like, oh, everybody in the world could make a rad comic, but this is my comic. This is the one that I'm going to make. And that's the only thing that when you boil it down, that's the only thing I have to offer the world is me, right? So here's what we're going to do today. I want you to get ready, and we're going to establish, we're going to straight up in our quest to prove originality is in the doing. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to steal the premise from one of the most famous comic book characters of all time. Okay, and here's the premise. Can we go to the drawing cam? I think we're going to be on drawing cam for a while here.
So just so all the participants know, there's Gio, the talking slide, and also there's the Gio Benedetti drawing cam. So there's a square there that focuses. So Gio, do you want me to spotlight that?
Yeah, let's spotlight that. Let's go ahead and show the drawing cam. Okay, so I've got 3 panels here. You don't have to do this. I want you to be thinking of, well, you can go along with me here if you want or not, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna start out. I'm gonna do super scratch drawings, okay? And I'm gonna start right with marker. I would never do this if I was actually working on my actual comic. I would be starting with pencil and eraser because I love my eraser.
And Gio, could you explain what you mean by a scratch drawing, please? Those technical terms, maybe.
Oh, well, this is going to be something where I'm going to get an idea down as quickly and as easily as I possibly can, and I'm not going to worry about the final product. If I wanted to turn what I'm about to make into something that I was going to bring down to the comic book shop, or I wanted to show people to illustrate my art skills, it would go through an entire new set of revisions. But right now, what I want to do is I want to establish this idea that we're going to start with. We're going to start with the idea of Batman. Okay. My hands get a little shaky because I'm giving a workshop and I get a little bit excited and nervous. So if you want to know why, that's my Batman symbol behind there. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna show, this is the origin. We're gonna do a quick origin story, because when we have an idea, when we have a story, we get bogged down in a lot of details. And sometimes the story becomes so huge, our idea is so huge that there's no idea where to start. So let's just start with one of the most famous origin stories of all time. Let's draw. I would love, if you all want to draw along with me, we're going to draw Bruce Wayne. Little Bruce Wayne, maybe Bruce Wayne, because he grows up so fancy, he's wearing a tie. He's wearing like a little suit. It's little kid Bruce Wayne, okay? And little kid Bruce Wayne is on his way to the movies. Oh no, you know where this is going, right? If you know the story of Batman, then you know he's on his way to the movies. Maybe in one hand, he's holding the hand of his mother, who's off panel here. That's a dress, that's mom. There's some long hair. And over here is his dad. Here's old man Wayne over here. Maybe he's also wearing a collared shirt and he's off panel too. And maybe Bruce Wayne is saying, we're really setting this up. I love my family. Oh boy, Bruce, I got bad news for you. But Bruce doesn't know that. Bruce is just on his way to the movies, okay?
So Gio, you just tell him that this isn't like a rough draft.
This is the roughest of rough drafts. This is just so I need a visual way to start telling my story. So when I'm coming up with any idea, or I'm coming up with comics, here, let me show you. I also have, here's some more rough drafts. This is just one of my current notebooks. So scribble scrabbles, lots of scribble scrabbles. See, and sometimes it's just boxes. Sometimes it's not even the full drawing. So what we're working on is really, really rough ideas, because what I want to talk about, more than I want to talk about how to draw, what I want to talk about is that you don't, well, first of all, you don't need to know how to draw. If you can do a stick figure, you can tell a story, okay? And what we're doing here in this most basic of origin stories is we're going to introduce our character. That's it. That's the only thing that we're going to do. And now you know that Bruce Wayne loves his family and that his mouth is a little bit goofy. This is how it goes when you're just working with your rough drafts, okay? But now, here's what's happening. In the second panel, this is a life-changing event. This is part of our hero's story, okay? So panel 2 is the life-changing event. Dun, dun, dun. And you know what I'm gonna do in between? Blam. Blam. Okay, so this is gonna get gruesome. If you're a sensitive viewer, avert your eyes. Oh no. This is the long hair of Mrs. Wayne. This is the shorter hair of Mr. Wayne. And let's say that the bodies have been shot. And here are their hands. Oh no. And here's now, let's look at Bruce Wayne now. Wide-eyed, he's not happy. And his hair is here. And he's just standing here over his family. What in the world has happened? And maybe in the background, just so you get an idea of what's happened here. Here's a guy with a gun. And he's running away. And in his other hand is a purse. He's got Mrs. Wayne's purse. And he's running away from the scene. Okay? That's all that we need. This is a life-changing event. We've introduced a character. Our character has a life-changing event. For the character of Bruce Wayne, who becomes Batman, our life-changing event is the I know it's a sad story, but the pictures that I drew look funny to me, so I'm laughing. So his parents have died. Parents died. Not just died, his parents were killed. That's important. Okay, now this is the decision that launches our story. I ran out of room. Another reason to use pencil. Okay, here's the decision that launches our story. Now, if this happens to Bruce Wayne, and then Bruce Wayne decides, you know what, I'm going to escape this by playing video games for the rest of my life. That does not launch our story. That finishes our story. But we don't want to finish it. We want to launch it because we want our comic book character to last for, 70 years and be a gigantic franchise of movie making and everything. So here we go. We're going to do a close-up. We're going to do a close-up. Is this the same? Could this possibly be the same child from a moment ago? Oh, no, it is not. We see this will never happen again. So promises the young Bruce Wayne unto himself. And this promise is going to launch our story. We'll try and keep our face like round and childish, but my goodness. Ooh, let's get like a fist over here. Grrr. Oh, and maybe just because this always happens in all the Batman comics. There's always, like, for some reason, in these opportune moments, there's swarms of bats start flying, right? And maybe we'll do, how important is this? It's so important that we're going to put these emphasis lines in there. Okay? And now what we have done is we have taken the idea of Batman and we've broken it down into what happens. We have a character. Our character has this life-changing event, and then because of that event, they make a decision that's going to launch our story. Can we go back to Facecam real quick, Talman? I want to see people. Okay. It's really important to remember that this is not important. The quality of the drawing is not important. What actually happens in these panels, also not important, okay? These three things are not unique to Batman. What if we had Superman here? In Superman, we introduce a baby. The life-changing event is that his planet blows up and he gets jettisoned. And then what we have is we have farmers find an alien baby. That generates our story. What if we had someone like Spider-Man? Oh, we have a little high school guy named Peter Parker. Oh no, he gets bit by a radioactive spider. He decides to use his powers for good. We have launched our story the exact same way. What if we took this same three-panel, just very simple three-panel idea, and we, all of us, right now, come up with a character? Maybe this is someone you've already thought about. Maybe it's not. But what we want to do is we want to condense it down into the smallest possible way. And we're going to do a very, very rough sketch. Some people don't like doing rough sketches. I know. I love doing rough sketches because I feel like I can always make it nicer and tighter later, but I need to get the idea down. That's my priority. So what I want to do is I'm going to start again. I'm going to make my 3 panels, okay? And I want everyone to do this with me, because what we're going to prove right now is that the idea of Batman's origin story is not original. It's not original to Batman. It's every revenge movie, every revenge storyline ever. You know, people you love get killed. What are you going to do about it? That is not original. Okay, so we're going to here's our intro.
And,
here's our event.
And Gio, you want me to go back and spotlight your drawing cam again?
Oh yeah, sorry.
No worries. And Gio, it doesn't really matter what kind of devices they're using, if they're using pencil or pen or crayon or marker, does it?
No, here, this is the tool array. Are we on the drawing cam?
I am now.
Okay, let's go to drawing cam, because I brought some, these are the tools that I had in my office. This is a pen that I found. This is a Sharpie. This is a brush pen, which is great. These are fun to play with. Here's a pencil. Here's another pen that I found in my drawer. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you want to work with. I would really recommend working with pencil, because then you can change it. I'm working with pen because it shows up best for these types of online workshops. I would prefer to do it all in pencil, really slowly and carefully. But this workshop would be over and you would just watch me erase a bunch of stuff. And that's, that's not the kind of workshop I wanted it to be.
And especially since you're talking rough draft, mistakes are okay. You know, you can.
I have a saying, Talman. My saying is embrace the eraser. Because if you're not making the mistakes and if you're not fixing the mistakes, you've cut yourself out of 99% of the learning process. So make it rough, make tons of mistakes. Don't be attached to the final product. What we're trying to attach to is getting an idea communicated from our brain to the world. That's the first and foremost mission right now. So here we have our intro, first panel. The event is our second panel. And the third panel is the decision. Okay? Now, what I would love for everybody to do, even if you don't have a character in mind, just think real quick, something that could happen. Maybe this was an idea I had because this is something that I struggle with. I would draw one of my kids here, and they have all their Halloween candy, and it's hidden up on the refrigerator. Actually, I did a rough draft of this. I think it's in my notebook. Let me see if I can show you. Oh, here it is. So here's my kid. I'm Timmy, and I love candy, and there's the bowl of candy. Now, that night, this is a picture of me sneaking out at night and eating all the Halloween candy out of my kid's bowl that they hid on top of the fridge. And now this is how the candy defender is born, because the next day, Timmy comes down and says, "This will never happen again," and decides to train for years so that no other child will have their parents eat their Halloween candy in the middle of the night ever again.
Sounds like you have a pretty regular tagline there.
You could. This will never happen again. If you want that to be the decision, that's great. My example, I think, what I'm going to do for my example, I'm going to switch pens, not so big. I'm going to go to so I can get some finer lines. And I'm going to say, let's say that there was a person, while I'm talking, you can ignore me because I really want everybody to see if you can do these 3 things on your own. I would love to see everybody's interpretation of how to take a character through these 3 moments. Meanwhile, I'm going to do it with an idea I had, which is maybe there's somebody out there, wears glasses, likes to help people. They got a lot of curly hair on top. We'll do some curly hair on top. Not so curly on the sides. And generally cheerful. I don't know. Talman, I don't know if you can spotlight your screen just for a second for everybody. So you should just spotlight the Talman screen just for a moment. And over here, we've got a person. Here's a nice pose. I always like this pose. It's just a semi-heroic pose here. All right. So maybe just hanging out on some grass. And maybe maybe this character here, this is a character named Mike. And here's mild-mannered Mike. Let's go back to drawing cam. And Mike says, "Oh, I love helping people." That's it. That's all. That's my introduction. Here's a character named Mike, wears glasses, has curly hair, likes to help people. That's all I got so far. So now, life-changing event. Maybe Mike's walking down the street one day, and over here,
Gio, if I could interrupt you for a moment. Ben asks, does the event have to be a bad thing?
No, not at all. In my example, it's a very good thing. So the event, and there's no rule for your character. Your character could be a rock. The life-changing event could be somebody plants a flower next to the rock. The decision could be the rock decides, I will safeguard this plot of land from all things and all creatures, and I will become the best gardening rock of all time.
Cool.
That could be your idea.
Gio, so to expand on, Ben actually says, does the event have to be a bad thing? Or like the hero falls into toxic waste and gets powers or something. So.
Exactly. That is a perfect example. I love that example. That's like the Fantastic Four / Spider-Man example. It could be like the life-changing event could be they meet somebody, and the person that they meet, like if you think of Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit, like the life-changing event is Gandalf. Gandalf is a life-changing event, and then adventures happen because Gandalf shows up. That idea has been stolen in so many fantasy stories, and it works every time. Because every time a wizard shows up to a village and tells some dumb kid, like, hey, I need you to go do something impossible. You, as the reader, first of all, we all are the dumb kid, and we all get inspired because we're like, I could do something impossible? But then we want to see that happen. We want to see what happens when a dumb kid has to go out and do something impossible.
I like the reference that falling into toxic waste is not necessarily a bad thing in the long run.
Totally depends on what the powers are, I guess. All right, so here's my event. I'm going to go back and make mine. While you please holler with any more questions as you're making yours. Let's say that Mike is walking down the street, and then, oh my goodness, Mike, again, usually I like to work with some pencil, but I'm going, kind of a quizzical look here. Mike's not happy because Mike likes to help people and he doesn't like littering. Let's get that curly hair back up on top, not so long on the sides. And let's just to be really specific with our storytelling. In case you didn't know that Mike was looking at this towel on the ground, he's also going to point at it. And just to make it look like he is really miffed, let's get that hand back on the hip. Nothing makes somebody look more disappointed than a hand on the hip. All right, wearing shorts again. Okay, and let's have the mouth open a little bit in disgruntled anger that someone in this beautiful, it's a beautiful park. Look, it's got flowers and everything. Why someone has littered. Exclamation mark. I'll just pick up this old towel. Good idea, Mike. You're so helpful. He's always helping people. This guy, this fictional character, Mike, that we've got. Really good helper in the community. Seems like the kind of guy who would probably pick up a towel if he found one lying around.
I'd like to meet him sometime.
Yeah, you should. Tell him, man, you should really get to know this guy. You'd like him. Still Mike. I got to remember my shirt from the first panel. Okay, my event has happened. He is going to pick up this towel. What he doesn't know, and reader, what you're about to discover is that this event leads to Mike receiving nearly godlike powers and becoming the hero that we all know and love.
And somebody asked if it could be a true story, Gio.
Oh my goodness, absolutely. So if this was a true story, if I had to do this true story, and if it was going to be about my desire to make comics and tell stories, my intro would be, I would draw maybe 2 kids in a school, and it would be Gio and Nat. And that would be me doodling in my book, and it would be Nat doodling in his book. My life-changing event would be Nathaniel selling me the comic book that he printed up on his mom's printer from work called Nat the Nutcase, and blowing my mind. I'd probably make my brain like exploding all over the place. And then my decision would be, I too will draw things. That would be the decision that I would come to. And I would probably be saying, I wouldn't say never will this happen again. I would say, I too will draw comics. Something along those lines. And that would be a true story. It would be, you know, dramatized. It didn't exactly happen like that. My brains didn't explode all over the 4th grade classroom. All right. So let's get, man, it's strange that Towel Man looks so much like this person, Mike. And let's get some, still has that curly hair and the glasses, you know? Is that curly hair? I don't know, that's just kind of spiky now. Gio's working at light warp speed. Warp speed, go. Wait a minute, did we just do 3 panels of hand on hip? Towelman, do you do you stand like that a lot? I don't know if you do or not.
Occasionally, sometimes they go in the pockets, or I'm reaching for my as a toilet as towel man. Sometimes I have to grab my toilet brush of truth.
Gotcha. Ooh, all right. Well, that'll be in the next issue where we find out how you found the toilet brush of truth. For now, once again, I think this panel warrants the emphasis lines. And maybe Towel Man is going to say something like, now I can help people. No, oh, barely squeeze it in there. Even more. All right, so how this works out, how these 3 panels work out could be, how this works out could be any number of ways. It could be a true story. It could be you make it up. This event could be tragic. It could be falling into the acid and the toxic waste. It could be finding a towel. When you get to the decision, as long as the decision doesn't end the story, as long as our decision pushes us forward, now we have everything that we need to literally stay busy for the rest of our lives, because there's no way to take longer making art than doing comics, except animation, because then you have to do 24 drawings for every second. But other than animation, making comics is literally the most time that it takes to create art. Because if you're just making pictures, great, you made pictures. If you're just writing words, great, write the words. But to do them both and to plan them out sequentially on a page, and oh my goodness gracious, you're in for a world of hours in front of your drawing table.
So Jackson asked, Gio, can there be mythical places, animals, and people?
Please, like if this was all much more contemporary, but just to while you're all still working on yours, let me really quickly go through something that's probably, I had to honor Towel Man, a real life superhero of mine. But other than Towel Man, let's say that we had a girl, and she's, I'm gonna go super fast on this one. Let's say that she has a crown, but way back here in the distance, there's a castle. And she says, I have been exiled by the evil wizard. Okay? I'm not even going to worry about the name of the evil wizard right now. And then maybe in the middle of this field over here, oh my goodness, is that a sword in a stone with the light shining down upon it? Oh, and then maybe my girl is here in the foreground. She finds this sword in the meadow. So this is to answer, this is a really long way to answer, was it Jonathan or Joe? Jonathan. So this, great. So this is a long way to answer Jonathan's question of, could it be fantastical? Could it be science fiction? It can be, the only limit is what you're thinking of. And then she sees this sword, she says, ooh. And then maybe when she draws the sword, you know, this is what I love. Like, I'm just drawing stick figures, but this character has so much vibe just because of how big the top of her head is, and because of her face and her goofy hair. I already love this girl, this exiled princess. Okay, and now here she is finding a sword. Hooray! Bing! And maybe when she draws the sword, maybe she's got one foot up on this big rock, right? So when she draws it, what it does is it summons, let's say it summons all of the fantastical creatures that have been, maybe the wizard hates magic creatures and like dragons and unicorns and such. So over here, coming off screen now, summoned by the power of this magic sword, we have, is that a unicorn? It's like a unicorn dog. All right. That's a unicorn. No arguments, folks. Maybe a unicorn shows up. Maybe a dragon shows up. We're looking at the dragon from the back here. Okay.
Gio, what I'd like you to address is that you, like in your first panel, you're not using a speech bubble. So there's no need to always have a speech bubble, right? You can put your dialogue in different ways. And the fact that you're leaving the panel, I think that's a great idea, that you don't necessarily have to be restrained by the borders of your drawing.
No, never. I mean, you're every time you come up on something you think you can't do, if you take 10 minutes, you'll be able to find an example of somebody doing that and making it look great. So there are plenty of web comics where people are making comics that are stick figures. Super simple, and they're still great because they are able to tell a good story. There are plenty of examples of people using rulers to make their boxes, and it looks really clean and nice. And some people make their boxes by hand, and it looks jangly and jaggly. This is totally fine also. So this sword goes out of the panel. You know, if I was to come in here later and I had to clean it up, I have some white out, or I could get some my white paint and I could go over that to make it look like it's really coming out of the panel. But there are no rules for how we use these panels. Remember that the point of this particular way of communicating is that what I've done is in each of these panels, like this is actually the next phase. So I don't want to move on to this. This is just a general question to everybody out there. How are you doing with this? Are you getting through your 3 panels? Are you coming up with a story? How's it going? Because what I would love to do is at the end of this, if we could all share them, we'll put a gallery up somewhere. I think there's an email that we can share these to at the end, which we'll put up in the chat. But I would love to see what folks are working on here.
We've had a student or two hold up their stuff to the camera. So if somebody, do you want to take a moment to do that, Gio?
Oh my goodness, yeah, let me switch over to gallery view real quick. And if people are, oh, I love seeing you making art. This is the coolest thing ever.
All right, Forrest, I'm going to spotlight you for a minute, sir.
Forrest. Yes. Forrest, I recognize you from the video that you put on lumacon.net. That was great, and I love seeing these characters come to life.
Rotibus.
Yeah.
Hi, Forrest.
Awesome.
All right. I'm gonna remove and see if there's anybody else.
Yeah, but just keep going, Towel Man. You've got the reins.
Hey, Ramona and Ophelia, you are in the spotlight.
Yeah, my buddies. Hi, Ramona and Ophelia. I love this.
Great.
Fantastic.
You
have another chair?
Wait, yeah, we got another one coming up. Yeah, bring it close. Or not.
Hold up your other one there so far. What you got? Oh, that's a great start. All right. We're gonna see if we got any more. Another one or two if we got time.
Yeah, we got.
Let's see, Aaron is up next.
That's my
Oh, we got a whole bunch of them.
I must stop the. Yes. I'm totally down to see what happens next in this story. Like I'm into it. I am led fully on the adventure. Well done, Aaron.
Let's see, LumaCon Corpse. We got several of them.
LumaCon Core. Oh, I can't see the. Oh, this is Snoopy on the doghouse.
Yeah.
That's so great. I love it.
We got another one here.
Closer.
Ooh, some
snakes.
Yes.
Sweet.
Yes, that snake. That's so sweet. Okay. Let's.
Can we do one more?
Yeah, let's do last one.
One last one, and then we'll get a chance for everybody, hopefully, to do it at the end. This is.
Oh, that's gorgeous. Look at the details on there.
Benjamin. Nice.
Ben, killer.
All right. So we're going to hopefully get to more people to share in a moment, but we want to get back to Gio and his drawing. Do you want to go back to the drawing cam?
Let's go. Can I get Facecam just for a second? I need my smile of giddiness because people are making fun art with me to like just communicate through, because it's like, it's the best feeling. I love it. You people are so fun. Thank you for making art with me. All right, let's go. We'll go to drawing view. We'll go back to drawing view. Okay. So we could take any one of these. All right, I've got 3 of them now. The benefit of working fast is that I've got 3 of introductions, life-changing events, and decisions. Now, let's just think for a minute. If we go back to our original, we go back to Batman. This moment of meeting Bruce Wayne and him going to the movies with his parents, this could be a 7-episode, full-on 20-page comic miniseries. This could be its own graphic novel, hundreds of pages, okay? This moment of the scene at the movies, like this is more instantaneous, but if you look in any of the Batman stories where this story has been told, it's pages. It's pages and pages and pages to show this happen in a way that is exciting. And then this part, of course, this is infinite. This is still going on now. There are like 12 different Batman titles still telling original stories about this character who is dedicated to this thing not happening anymore. So in this one, here's my introduction. I don't know the name of this character. We don't know the name of the wizard. Why has she been exiled? What's the name of this castle? What is happening here? This all by itself, if I started to write out the full story or I started to plan out all of my pages, this all alone could be enough work to keep me busy for the rest of 2021. And then who knows when that sword is going to show up? Who knows when the magic creatures show up to her call? I don't know. And then for Towelman, Mike, this is a very brief introduction. Who is Mike? Does he have a family? Where does he live? What do we know about Mike? What's his favorite thing to drink? This introduction, this event, the decisions, all of these single panels. Okay, here's where we go from proving that we are all original and that we can take the same idea that we've seen and we can make it ours. And then we can launch from here, from our original idea, we can launch, okay? And I'm gonna take the first panel here. And what I'm gonna do next is called thumbnailing. So a thumbnail, there it is. Look at that. How nice is that? Thumbnail drawing is art speak for a really quick mock-up of just trying to get your idea down on paper so that you can get organized. That's what a thumbnail is, okay? There's no detail. There's nothing except trying to get an idea down. So let's say I'm not going to make this one panel into 13 issues. I'm going to keep it really contained, but I do want to tell this story, just the story of my first panel, and I have one page to do it, okay? So maybe I open with an establishing shot. So this is a landscape, okay? And it, like once upon a time. I'm not even going to write it all out because in the thumbnail, it's about getting the idea down. So here's a beautiful landscape, rolling hills, and here up on a mountain is my castle, okay? And maybe over here is a forest. And that's my establishing shot to let everybody know where my story is, okay? And now maybe the next thing that I want to show is, I want to show, it was a land of magic. So maybe over here is where I get my, there's my unicorn.
And Gio, I like the idea that you're showing that your panels don't have to be consistently the same size.
No.
Each panel can tell a different aspect of the story in a different amount of space.
Right. So the way that I would do this, again, I would normally do this with pencil because I'm going to be making mistakes even as I'm thumbnailing, but I want it to show up for you on the computer, and so I'm using my marker. But the panels, this whole page has to adjust to how I want to tell the story. And I think that a nice long landscape reminds me of a beautiful scene in a movie where you're just looking really slowly over a really pretty fantasy scape. Maybe there's some clouds up in the sky, right? Beautiful. And then when I start doing this, you can think in terms of movies if you like, but now I'm doing shortcuts. I'm seeing a lot of different things sequentially in order. So I see a unicorn, it was a land of magic. I see maybe a fairy. I'm gonna draw a little fairy with some wings. And they're happy. Everything here is gonna be happy and delighted. And there's a little, maybe butterfly wings. And maybe like in the background, there's like a smaller one. Okay, so there's fairies flying around. It was a land of magic. And then maybe here is where we meet the princess. And the princess, what's her face, with the giant forehead, who I just love, was happy. All right? Princess was happy. Princess happy. And then until, oh no, dun dun dun. I'm going to do another long panel because I want this to interrupt everybody's attention. And maybe the border even is going to get meaner. Dun, dun, dun. And I'm just going to start out with some evil eyes. Look at that. Look at those bags under the eyes. Look at how mean they are.
So I like the idea that you go from like the panoramic scene, showing a wide view, and now you're kind of like a super close up with this panel.
Super close up, right? And we're going super close up, and we're gonna try and get some bushy eyebrows in there. Until, and then what we're gonna show over here Now we're gonna go to action. Okay, so we go super close up, interrupting everything with these mean eyes. And then, oh, I'm just getting into the, sometimes if you just like are feeling it and you just like, well, I like these mean eyes. Sometimes you just gotta give it a minute, okay? So then after we get that minute to break all of this happiness, then we see evil wizard, okay? Maybe he's got a big hook nose and a big mustache and big beard and mean eyes. And here he is with a staff of power, and there's lightning coming out of it. And we'll put him up on like a like a Lion King style jutting promontory of rock over the lanes, right? So here's the castle maybe in the distance. And this is going to show wizard takes over. I'm just making notes to myself. I can write it as a story a little bit later. And then we'll show how, and this is how brutal do we want to make it. What I need to show in these last two panels, we're going to show that the magic creatures are sent away. Magic is outlawed. Ooh, I know. We'll put, watch this. No better way to say outlawed than with barred doors. And then maybe, this is our unicorn one more time. Every time I draw a unicorn, it's always a little bit funny, because if I was, shade that in and make a stone frame around that to show you that we're in the dungeons here. Magic is outlawed. And the princess was exiled. And now we have here, bing. Now I'm back to that original panel that to me told the story, but now I've fleshed out the story. So I have so much more to work with here. Now I know that there's this wizard. I know kind of what the wizard looks like. I've set up the atmosphere of my kingdom. I've set up these magical characters that maybe can come back later. And now, rather than being given this story in newspaper comic style where there's only 3 panels, now I took that first panel and we fleshed it out into a full page. Now, just like the story of one panel could be a full page, each of these panels could be a full page. It really depends, how much do you want to work? How much are you going to be writing? Okay? You can make your comics as long or as short as you want, but here's the most important part. The most important part is to start your idea and not worry about your drawing style, not worry about, am I the type of person that makes comics? Not worry about, is this an original idea? Because as soon as you've drawn it, all the people, can we go back to Facecam, Talman? Every single person that just shared their work, all of you, every single one is unique. Like none of you came up with the same idea. I see Ben Reitzman is holding up like the 2 more super detailed panels over there. Like nobody else came up with Ben's idea. Ramona and Ophelia came up with their idea. Like that's an original idea. And I wouldn't have been able to see that if there were any obstacles like leading up to that. So the comic doesn't need to be long, doesn't need to be short. It just needs to get made or no one will ever get to hear your story. That's really the point. I have one really important thing to say to everybody, because we're just about out of our official time. We can hang out later and share our work, okay, after 1 o'clock if people have time. We can share some work and we can answer some more questions. But at the end of our official time, I want to let everybody know that I think starting in March through the Petaluma Library, I'm going to be giving a workshop. It's going to be an 8-week workshop. We're going to meet for an hour a week, and we're going to plot out and write and script and draw and ink an 8 to 12 page comic. everybody that comes in to participate. At the end of it, we're going to collect them all. It's going to be our first anthology, and we'll all get a copy of the original comics that we're going to make together to bring home. That's not on the calendar yet, but it's starting in March. So if you want to stay tuned for that, then just get in touch with the library. And actually, can we put the library contact up there? I wrote it down on one of my pieces of paper, but I don't remember where it is. I found it. Okay.
I put it in the chat as well, Gio.
Oh, thank you, Karen. So Karen's email is in the chat, everybody. And if you made a cool 3-panel comic that during our workshop today, and if you can share that, would you please send a copy to the email that is in the chat? Because I would love to see it. LumaCon would love to see it. Maybe put in the email if you're okay with it showing up on the internet, if LumaCon can put it in a gallery or something. But it would be really cool to share it. Also, hit up that email if you want to know about the mini comic workshop extendo, 8 weeks to actually publish it, that we're going to put together in March. And then the only other thing I have to say is I love you and thank you so much for getting together on a Saturday to make cool art with me. I had a really good time.
And Gio, I also wanted to ask you real quick about Art Start. You had mentioned that earlier to Towel Man.
Yeah. Art Start is a nonprofit that I work with in Santa Rosa, and it is open to all kids 14 to 20. So it's for, you got to be 14 to 20, but if you're not 14 to 20 yet, remember Art Start, because what we do is we do public art. So we do murals and installations in town of just beautiful art, taking things and doing mosaics, big street murals, and you can apprentice with Art Start. And artstart.us is the place to get more information. But if you're out there and you're 14 to 20 and you're like, oh, I wonder if I could be an artist professionally, it's a really great way to see what art looks like in different ways and the skills that you need as a professional artist, of not really the drawing part, but the dealing with clients part. The what do you do if you have to go out and paint a wall? Like, how do you prep it? The hands-on experience is incredible. And our apprentices that work with us, the students 14 to 20, also get paid for their work. So it's an incredible program. Check it out, artstart.us, if you're into that.
And Karen, can we go a little longer and take some questions? I see some hands are raised, and I know there's at least a few students more that want to share their art. Is that a possibility?
Yes, and remember, they can share their art also during our finale, which if you register for it, I also put the link for that in the chat, which will be at 3 to 4 with Towel Man, and we'll have some raffles too. Make sure you are tagging your stuff on Instagram and Facebook, because that'll enter you in some raffles for some local gift cards as well.
Yeah, so remember that 3 to 4 this afternoon. Maybe even Gio will come in and visit us. We're going to have the live drawing room, and we'll be giving some prompts, but we'll be looking for people to share their art during this opportunity. So before we do any more sharing or take any questions to Gio, could we have a nice round of applause for Gio Benedetti?
Thanks, everybody. That was so fun. I love doing this stuff. Thanks for hanging out of a Saturday.
I also want to give one more shout out. Anya Spalding is in our room, and she made this beautiful logo that I got right here in my little picture. So shout out to Anya for being the logo winner this year. And then the LumaCon Kids Corp, I saw you guys in there. Great cosplay. Beautiful job. Sebastian, I know you sent in a drabble. Awesome job. I'm just seeing faces that I know. Good job, guys. We're so glad you participated this year. I know it's hard with it all being online.
Amazing, amazing stuff. So before we take any of the questions, the hands are up. Are you still there, Gio? Yeah, you're there.
Yeah, I'm still here.
I'd like to see another drawing or two. And then Chase, can you share your drawing? Put your drawing up to the camera, Chase. I'm going to spotlight you, sir.
All right.
So scoot along, Chase, so we can see all 3 panels. Bring it down a little bit.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Nice. Wow. A lot of dialogue,
This
Chase.
is actually from the 2012 series with the Shredder's origins.
Better. Dude, I love this. Will you please make sure you email that to the library so that we can I want to be able to peruse all these and just go through them. It's so sweet. Thanks for
Thank you,
working with
Chase.
us.
Would anybody else like to share their drawings, or should we take some questions? All right. I'm
Where's my
gonna
goer?
grab who I can. Let's see.
Ramona and Ophelia.
I'm gonna try to do Maya and Sue here real quick.
Hi, Maya.
I love this story.
Oh my gosh.
That's so cool.
Wonderful. All right. I'm gonna try to get a couple more in here.
That's so great. Please keep going.
Let's see. Jaden, I'm gonna wait. Hold on. I'm gonna grab you, Jaden. Move it closer to the camera, please.
There you go.
Yeah, this is the first sketch. I didn't have a lot of time to do it. I just did it right now. But basically, there's a spider in a web. The spider eats the fly. The fly says, "I will avenge you."
That is so fun. Please.
Let's see.
Tell
Sebastian, you want to share yours?
No,
Or
I
do you have a
just had
question?
comment I wanted to say. So the Sharon should go first.
Fashion.
I'm gonna go Virginia. You want to share yours? Am I getting you mid waffle there?
Oh,
All right, Virginia, hold yours up to the camera, please.
Color.
Woohoo!
gorgeous.
That's fantastic.
Oh,
Very
my
nice.
goodness. Virginia, that's rules. So does breakfast. You've got all things happening. You've got art and breakfast going on simultaneous.
We have to have a comic strip about waffles.
Um,
Let's see. Gus, you want to show yours? Okay.
Oh, wow. I will always look both ways.
I think that's a good safety message right there. Thank you, Gus.
Gus, that is so funny. Please have a comic where the ghost of Look Both Ways shows up in other places. I'm excited to see that.
All right. I'm gonna go. Let's see. Ramona and Ophelia, you want to share? Yours?
Yes. All right. Bring it up close, and then you can narrate it a little bit too, because sometimes it's hard to see the words.
You want to tell us what's happening there, Ramona and Ophelia?
Well, that's Ophi's.
Don't forget to unmute yourself.
You're not muted, but for some reason on a different audio channel.
Looks great. All right.
We can hear
Thank you. I'm going to try to grab a couple more. Back here and gallery. Hold on. All right. All right. You're up, Aaron.
Hey, Aaron.
Oh, the expanded edition. I love it.
So he flies
some
off
great
with this
characters there.
alien and then
Angry eyes too.
transforms.
Aaron, I'm putting you in the same category as we had with Chase and Ramona and Ophelia too, because I wasn't able to read it all just through the screen. Just like the resolution doesn't work. So I need to see these.
Okay, I'm going to blue.
Email them. Take a picture of them. Just take a picture of them and make sure they get to the email so that we can share them around. That blue? What's up, blue?
Yeah. Snowy, no.
Hey, is that a little Tintin comic? That rules.
Totally. Let's
Blue's
see.
not my background on my laptop. Blue knows that I'm down with Tintin.
Anybody else? Sebastian, you ready to share?
I was going to say like a comment of something rather than sharing.
All right, Sebastian, your spotlight.
No, I came in kind of late, so I just had to really quickly draw something, like drawing donuts. So,
Yes.
drew random alien who liked eating food, then
Yep.
ate a donut and became like a
It's a
hippo
lamp.
creature kind of thing.
Nice, Sebastian. Well done, sir.
It's like a stepper.
All right.
So this happened to Ramona and Ophelia too. Also, Sebastian, were like the audio channel, for whatever reason, I can't hear it on my laptop, but it's coming through on my phone, which has been my drawing cam. So that's why I was doing this. But I was able to hear.
Aviel, you want to show yours? I'm not sure if I'm saying your name.
Abiel?
Aviel? Would you like to share yours, Aviel?
Yes.
Let's see what you got.
It's showing that it's forming into a actual lot of ice over water.
Oh, I see the water.
Yeah, that is some nice looking water.
Aviel, that is such a cool idea for making a comic. I love it.
Underwater.
Wow, sweet. Thank you.
Please share these, people. Please, oh, please share them.
Anybody else? Gus?
I wanted to tell you this, but Verdi is my friend.
Hi, Gus. Do you have something you want to share?
Say that again, Gus.
I just wanted to tell you that the one that shared who is called Verdi is my friend.
That's your friend?
Mm-hmm.
He's got a lot of art in the back on the walls there, too. All right. We'll come back to you, Gus. And let's see. Oh, there goes Gus. Zelda. Zelda, you're up. Whoa, some nice shading there, Zelda.
Awesome, Zelda. It looks like a cat comic.
So I have cat being chased by some smoke. Then another cat brings
Uh-oh,
in
getting
candle.
close to the
Sorry,
candle.
burst. And then another cat
Danger.
brings in a candle, and then it
Thank you,
scares
Zelda.
the dark away, and then the cat's
All
fine.
right.
I love it. Hey, Talman,
Yes,
for
sir.
some reason, these people are on a different audio channel, but I'm hearing it in my phone.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I
So
don't know.
I'm able to
Oh.
hear it, not on our regular channel for some reason.
You know, it might be down here that the translation thing, they could be maybe in
Spanish.
Spanish.
Yeah, maybe.
So is there anybody else that would like to share the pictures or has a question? Sebastian, do you have a question?
No. I just wanted to share a drawing I bought at LumaCon in 2019.
Yeah.
Gio Benedetti actually drew this one. It was the one he has in the background. He has a copy of it.
Never split the party.
Never split the party. We named it together. Never split the party. He added in some goblins.
That was really fun, and it's good to see you again, Sebastian.
Good
Yeah,
to see you, Gio.
that's that was the original. No goblins.
Ramona and Ophelia, do you have a question?
Well, I just wanted to share.
No, wait. I think you're on this other channel. Go ahead.
I just wanted to share a picture that I drew.
So Ramona and Ophelia, if you
Wait,
go to the
Calman. Wait. I've got him on audio here. She
Okay.
wants to share a picture.
I just made this picture over the summer.
Just made this picture over the summer.
It was just for
look at
fun.
that color.
Did you? Is that a
that
painting on
handwriting.
canvas?
And
That's
Well, it's an
amazing.
Beautiful colors.
and I drew it on cardboard.
Oh yeah, it's on cardboard, like recycled cardboard. That's the way to
Nice.
recycle cardboard. That's awesome, and it's great to see you, Ramona and Ophelia. Take care out there.
What do you guys have for Christmas?
All right. Anybody else? I see. Hold on.
Oh, Zelda
Oh.
again.
Show.
I
Zelda,
think
I'm
it's
gonna show
about
you-
time we start wrapping up.
Okay.
But come and join us for the finale, guys. Make sure you register, get on there at the finale, and we will see more work.
Yeah, come at 3 o'clock. 3 to 4 will be the drawing room. We're gonna have this fun drawing, and I really appreciate everybody sharing their art. One more time, let's have a big round of sound for Gio Benedetti.
And all of you, thank you all so much for having me. Thanks so much for participating, and please send those copies of your art and the comics that we made because I want to see them all.
Yeah. Again, and remember Gio's 8-week course coming up in the near future.
Yeah, should be starting in March. We're looking to start in March, and it'll be through the Petaluma Library. So stay in touch.
Thank you, everyone. Happy What is it? LumaCon.